This is a Choppin It Up show brought to you by the Marching Podcast. And now here is your host, the Phantom Podcaster himself, Joe Beard.
Welcome to the Choppin It Up show, everyone. I'm your host, Joe Beard, and happy to be of service for you. This is the month of October, and we're ready to get things moving along. We appreciate all those listening through iTunes, YouTube, our blog, Twitter, our website, Facebook, or wherever you are on the interwebs. At the end of the broadcast, if you decide you like the show, then we appreciate a donation to the network if you feel so in your heart, of course. Just simply go to themarchingpodcast.com and click on the donate button to help improve the show and help build our scholarship fund. This podcast is brought to you by Block Band Music and Publishing, SAY Promotions, Liquid Effects Photography, and Double Time Entertainment. We hope you enjoy the show. Lots of folks are asking how to follow or how to catch up on the shows. You can go to our website and click on the Listen and Follow tab. You will see a link to each one of our channels on Blog Talk Radio, our new studio, and also on YouTube and our blog. Lots of folks are on YouTube, so check out our channel there. Our blog is also a good place, and that is at blog4.themarchingpodcast.com. Make sure to put your email in the top right corner of the page so you can get an email and other notifications when we release each podcast. We're also on Instagram, posting the text of our episodes there if you like, and we're now on Snapchat. Hit us up at the Marching Podcast and send us our chat about our show and our blog or whatever you want to say, and we'll acknowledge that we receive your posts, and we'll read your posts on the next show and give you a shout out. We also have a new opportunity that's coming up to broadcast the 90 Degree Show on NBC Sports. The Marching Podcast has been asked to broadcast the 90 Degree Show over the national airwaves, and we need to raise money to achieve our goal. You can go to our Facebook page, Twitter, and click on the Kickstarter project to work with NBC, and we would love for your support. You can also email or contact the show for any other details. In this podcast, we chop it up with Jeanetta Hopkins. So shout out to her current husband, whose last name is Hopkins. You guys will catch me here or there saying JP or Jeanetta Powell because that is who she was when I met her. And I'm like super slow with calling women by their married names as we get older and stuff. I refer to her as JP a couple times. I think Jeanetta Powell a couple times. So forgive me if the Hopkins folks are wondering why I'm not saying the correct name. Jeanetta is the owner and founder of Bull City Music School. And I remember Jeanetta from school at Jackson State. She was quite the popular one, and we met by being in the same major. I started off as a music major, and I would see Jeanetta in music theory class with Dr. Thomas. Now, I forgot his first name, Dr. Thomas's first name, but he was a really, really good saxophone player and was basically the guy that separated the music majors from the rest of the students on campus. So you basically went there to find out if you were going to actually survive there on campus being a music major. I remember our final, he gave us 2 songs to play on the piano. And let's just say I did not finish the academic year or the academic semester as a music major. Now, Jeanetta however, was one of the hardcore people and finished her degree in music with no problem. And I always admire those folks that finished in music because it was no joke getting through that major. And I definitely know firsthand. I've kept up with Jeanetta over the years with all the social media and saw that she up and created a music school one day. So super proud of her and called her and asked how this happened. She broke down all the actual factuals and be a productive citizen and create an avenue of success for other people to follow. So I said, this is going to be great for an interview on our podcast. So we finally got together and did this interview, and we hope you enjoy the podcast. In this first segment, we find out where Jeanetta is from and where her family is from. We also find out why she wanted to attend an HBCU. Finally, we find out in this segment her extensive background in the arts and how that shaped her path through high school. You can email the show at marchingpodcast@gmail.com, tweet us at marchingpodcast, or follow our blog, blog4.themarchingpodcast.com. You're now here with the Marching Podcast, and always got great guests, but always got outstanding alumni and folks I was on the yard with. Those are always the best ones. But Miss Jeanetta Powell, how are you doing in this podcast?
I'm doing well. I'm so excited to be on and, of course, represent the baddest school in the land, Jackson State University.
Of course. That is definitely what we're doing here, because now they can wow, look at our graduates, look at our products out in the world.
That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Jimmy James said it. We are the summa cum laude, honey.
That's right. We chopped it up with DeMarco Morgan. He's doing well. And Avery is doing well. Avery McFadden. Talk to a lot of our boomites, and it's cool because I'm sure I always talk about it in the intro, but you were in my first music class. I don't know if you remember that.
Of course I remember that.
Okay.
Who could forget?
Yeah, that's right.
Who could forget sitting in Dr. Thomas's music theory class when he walked in?
Yes. I remember you were one of the soldiers, because I had a lot of respect for music major, after halfway through the first semester, it was just I realized how serious it was. So I became a history major right after that. Yeah, but I always love to talk to you guys because y'all made it, y'all finished, and out doing great things, as we will talk about later on in the interview with Bull City Music.
That's right, Bull City Music School.
So let's go ahead and get into it. Jeanetta, where are you from?
I am born and raised from the Bluff City, Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay, all right. Now, are all of your family, or are both of your parents from Memphis, the Tennessee area?
Actually, they are. My dad is from the city limits of Memphis, and my mom actually grew up in the county, what they call Lucy, Tennessee, and I think they've now changed it, and it's Millington, Tennessee.
Okay, all right, that's cool. Yeah, I am, being from St. Louis, I was in Memphis every year for the Southern Heritage Classic. So,
right.
That's right down the highway and on the way to school. Always shout out to Memphis. Are you a big Grizzlies fan? Do you any roll with any Memphis sports or anything like that?
Of course. I grew up on the University of Memphis Tigers. When I was growing up, it was Memphis State.
Right.
Now it is University of Memphis Tigers, and of course, the Grizzlies. It's nothing like that grit and grind. I remember when they first came to the city, and I went to their first game. Wow. And to see how far they've come is a testament to their motto, their slogan, grit and grind.
Okay. Well, yeah, school me, break me down. I didn't know that, I'm a big sports person, so I didn't know that was their motto, but yeah, now I can use that. So appreciate that. I'll make sure to give you credit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
I appreciate that. So that's what's up. Okay, cool. So, great answer. So growing up in Memphis, I always talk to folks and I'd be like, what was your first exposure to HBCU marching bands and stuff like that? So do you remember What was your first exposure, like seeing bands or any of like the HBCU culture? Do you remember like your first exposure to it?
I do, and it was at a battle of the bands. Ironically, Westwood High School was there, and a couple of other schools, because the high school I went to was a core band, so, I got to see the other side of marching band, but I went with my cousin and was just blown away. And then we went to the Southern Heritage Classic, and I had to go to an HBCU for other reasons too, but it was nothing like it.
Right. I think that's the main thing I kind of tell folks. It's the experience, all of everyone that looks like you all around you, educated or there being in school, is definitely a magical type of feeling,
Mm-hmm.
So very good.
It is.
So that's what's up. So you're kind of also different as far as the questioning goes, because you are multi-talented as far as music goes. Let me ask you this. What was your first instrument? Like what age do you remember, or what age was it around when you started like playing an instrument?
I was 5 years old, and I started playing piano first.
Okay. So you had private lessons with someone. Was it someone like close to you, or like were your parents, did they make sure, I guess, to put you in some type of a music school, or how did you get to learn to play piano at 5?
Music is a part of my family, and it was, as they say, in my genes. My grandmother played, my great-grandmother played, her brother, who was a very famous jazz pianist for the singer Pearl Bailey. So it was all around. They knew like which direction to go, but I started with piano lessons at my school. Came home, told my parents, I want to take piano lessons. So I started taking at school, and being the child that I am, or I was, I told them I'm not learning anything. And so that's when they pulled me out. I was taking lessons there, and I've been in private lessons ever since. I was like, no sense in this. And then when my great-uncle, Raphael Claxton, moved back to the Memphis area from Chicago, he became my teacher, and I studied under him until his health declined.
Wow. Okay. So they actually had piano at your school? The Memphis.
Yes, they did.
Okay. Wow, that's actually cool, because they don't have piano at a lot of schools. Providing
no, they
that.
don't.
That's what's up. So did you go to, was it the Memphis public schools, or did you go to a private school?
No, I was educated in the public school system. My first exposure to the piano was at a great school. It wasn't a school of the arts, but the principal there was dynamic. Her daughter was a professional dancer, her son a cellist, and she herself was a singer. So she knew the importance of the arts and made sure that we had everything there. But as I began to progress musically, my grandmother's best friend, who was the principal at an elementary performing arts school, said, Jeanetta needs to be here. I need her here in my school. And I transferred in the 5th grade. And what was so funny about it was both my principals, my first principal and my second elementary school principal, they all went to church with my grandmother. So that's where I started in the whole arts education. Well, the formal arts education was when I transferred in the 5th grade to another school. And then from there, middle school and high school, I was always at the schools for the performing arts.
Wow. So I didn't know your background was that extensive. I just know, like, you just showed up, you were a music major. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, wow.
No, this girl got some mileage.
Wow, so that's really cool. So, I didn't even know all that about you. Okay, so you were exposed really well at a young age, and that pretty much is what's so important to me, just that exposure to music, exposure to a lot of things at a younger age, but it definitely sounds like you hit the peak of what a lot of people should be doing, like with their kids, to keep them busy. And, I mean, look, you turned out well. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we all, and that's what we all want. So wow, that's really cool that you had really were exposed through family, so they knew really what direction to take you and like what programs and where to put you and all that stuff like that. So you were like a
They really did.
you were like a prodigy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I loved it just a little bit, just a little bit. But being in the School of the Arts, especially at the elementary level, because I didn't have to specialize in anything like what I did once I got to middle school and high school, I was able to be exposed to it all. So there, I had ballet lessons. I was into drama, and I actually loved the theater. I loved the stage.
Okay.
And that is where I was introduced to orchestra, and I started playing the viola. So fifth grade, I was up for fifth grade when I started playing the viola. So I was still able to do everything. I was taking piano outside of school, and I would accompany the school chorus. And then I started learning the viola, still in drama, learning about the stage. And then once I got ready to move into middle school, I had to choose between all three of them, between drama, between orchestra, and piano. And that was tough, but I said, okay, I'm already taking piano lessons outside of school. I'll just specialize in orchestra, and that's what I did all the way to high school.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. That's what's what's really interesting about that is making those type of decisions is one thing, but the type of the decisions you're talking about through orchestra or theater, I think that definitely sounds like it makes you more well-rounded at a younger age, giving you that exposure to those type of things. But you said so you really did like theater though.
I did. I really did, because you get a chance to try on different personalities and express yourself in ways that you may not be able to do. See different people all at different times and say, oh, I can leave it on the stage. Done.
Right. Was it through high school as well? So you say fifth grade, you transferred to the school. Did the school go from fifth grade all the way through 12th grade?
No, I was there for fifth and sixth grade when I went to Roselle.
Oh, okay.
And then middle school, when I was in school, was 7 through 9. So I went to Colonial 7th through 9th grade, and then I went on to Overton School of Creative and Performing Arts for 10th through 12th grade.
Band directors, have you ever found yourselves in this situation? Showtime is quickly approaching. Your budget is quickly disappearing. Your music choices are narrowing. The equipment condition is wearing and your stress level is mounting. Stop what you're doing and contact Block Band Music and find out how we've got you. Check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style, and traditional bands worldwide.
Hello, this is Andy Moreira, and I am one of the 2016 Marching Podcast Scholarship recipients. I would like to give a shout-out to my euphonium section back in Arkansas in Pine Bluff. A shout-out to Duran, a shout-out to Bianca, a shout-out to Omar, a shout-out to Gio. And you are now listening to the Marching Podcast Radio Network.
We're back, everyone. What I remember from the first segment was I didn't know she was exposed to the arts as much as she was and at that level. So I have so much respect now. Just taking back, I have so much respect now for my parents and how they exposed me to certain things and how that shaped my life, and how hearing that it basically shaped Jeanetta's life too, and how sharp she was in music. And that is what we want to do here on the network, is to expose folks across the world, especially here on the West Coast, about HBCUs, their graduates, and how valuable they are in our success. So happy to give out these positive images like Jeanetta on the network and give youth an idea on the paths that they want to take to their future. So as we get into the second segment, we find out where Jeanetta is from. We find out where Jeanetta went to high school. She explains why she wanted to attend an HBCU in a little bit more detail, and she tells us about her selection process. We find out how she contemplated what she wanted to do for work and a career, and how that helped her decide on being a music major. And then finally, we start talking about how she then started to own her own business. You can email the show at marchingpodcast@gmail.com, tweet us at marchingpodcast, or follow our blog, blog4.themarchingpodcast.com. So are they still doing it like that? Because somebody told me that's like basically like old school. That's old school.
Yeah, that is. That's old school. Now middle school is 6, 7, and 8, and high school is 9 through 12.
Right. Because that tripped me out. You said, because I know like we're the same age. So they in Memphis, they still had that, because that's how I was exposed to it. They said that they had just changed it in our district maybe a year or 2 years before I started 5th grade. But yeah, a lot of the middle schools were up to 9th grade, and high school, that was like the senior high school. You know what I'm saying? That was
right. It was senior high school, absolutely. Now I think a year after I left middle school, then high school became 9 through 12, or something like that. It was close, because I know when I graduated, we had 9th graders running around.
Right. So that's cool. So you went there, and then what was the name of the high school when you went to senior high school there?
Watkins Overton Creative and Performing Arts High School.
Okay, all right. So you really have an interesting upbringing. Tell me about like how you were going to decide on where you were going to college.
I knew, number one, I was going to go to a historically black college and university. I had to. That was just number one, no matter where I went, because my upbringing, once I hit middle school and high school, I was in a mixed school setting the entire time. And being in school during the days of Rodney King and OJ, you really began to understand the world around you. So I said, for once in my life, I want to go to a university, college or university, that is all about me, that celebrates who I am as a female, celebrates who I am as a black female, and that celebrates me within my own culture. So an HBCU was it. I was accepted to other schools, but I was gung-ho. I said, I've got to be at an HBCU and a different world. Because I was like, that's totally different from my school experience.
Right.
I had to be at an HBCU. And Jackson State was it.
When you were picking HBCUs, it's funny you brought that up. I know in our last episode, the girl was talking about Different World and Fresh Prince, and she's like about 10 years younger than us. But she was talking about how those programs helped her decide to go to Tuskegee. And I was happy that 10 years younger than me, somebody said that. Because I didn't necessarily know, or I don't know, how well those shows are in circulation. I think you can watch Different World on Netflix. Like, I think it's on Netflix. Yeah. So stuff like that probably can expose some of the kids to it. That would be cool. I know I saw School Days. So that kind of like School Days. Was Jackson State the only black school you wanted to pick from? Did you apply or think about going anywhere else?
I did. Actually, Fisk was my number one choice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Fisk was my number one choice, but Fisk was in dire financial straits. And I was like, oh, no, can't do this. I considered Tennessee State, but Tennessee State could not meet my orchestra criteria. Oh. They didn't even have anyone that could teach strings there. So, next. That one wasn't going to happen. I looked at Dillard, because I remember Dillard came to my high school, and they were recruiting, and they said even though they didn't have an orchestra, that they still had some faculty and connections. So Dillard was a possibility, but I went to Jackson State, auditioned, and walked away with a full in-state scholarship, and I had my out-of-state tuition waived.
Wow.
And I had an orchestra scholarship. Jackson State it is.
Yeah, we definitely have all of that, the radio station, the jazz, stuff like that. Definitely an outstanding musical school, which is why we give out L's to Tennessee State all the time. I'm just playing. Just love Tennessee State.
That's right.
Love you, Tennessee State. Love you, Tennessee. I was just playing. So that's what's up. So that's actually really cool. I'm glad you broke that down for us. Hopefully we could get our communities to support our schools, but like you said, a lot of them are in financial disarray, so to speak. And then a lot of them just don't have a lot of maybe what's considered unorthodox programs or something that's just different, like sailing, I think, or lacrosse. Or something like that, or like you say, strings and orchestra. So it's good that Jackson State provided that. So you decided you're going to Jackson State. Did you know specifically what you wanted to be? Like they say, did you know what you wanted to be when you grew up and what you were going to major in?
Now that's an interesting question to ask me. And I always knew that I was going to have multiple jobs. I always knew that because I said I will always stay diverse no matter what I'm doing. Now, long before I was taught about diversifying your income and all of that stuff. I always knew that. I always knew that I would do something in music. Just what I would do, I don't know. My mother told me that I was going to major in music. Like, oh, okay. All right, well, since it's paying for school, I guess so. And then, as with anybody, getting a college degree is about self-discovery. It is truly a self-actualization period. And while I'm going through it, we're in Mississippi, and then, you start to learn about the teacher's salaries, and like, I can't live off of this. I need to be able to live. And I'm like, please, okay. Well, I'm here now. Let me finish it, and I'll do something else. So I actually had a minor in political science.
Oh, okay.
And I enjoyed my political science class with Dr. McLemore. I enjoyed my philosophy class. And then when it came time, I don't even remember what the class was, but I was like, oh, I'm done with this. Dropped it off. This is boring to me. I'm going to go back over here in my creative world and figure out what I can do with this. I was like, I'll have a job. I'll always be able to teach. So that's how I kind of ended up staying there. And then it came back to, I was like, I can't live off of this. So I took the LSAT. I was like, I can go to law school. I've got a very strong music background. Let me move into entertainment. I fell asleep on the LSAT. I was like, this is boring. This is boring. I can't do this. I can't do this. And went to teaching.
What's funny about that is the LSAT. I know a lot of people have said that it doesn't really have too much to do with law school, but I remember a whole bunch of, like, if you have a necklace and the beads are red, blue, green, and yellow, and the assortment is 2 reds and yellow, but a yellow can't be before a blue. Like, I remember that, and then they were like, what does the necklace look like? You know what I'm saying? I remember that. And, like, I totally got bored with it. I was just like, I totally feel you on that. I was like, man, I'm not really tripping off that. 'Cause it seemed like math, but it was like a wordy math type of thing.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I'm done with this. But what's funny is when I took my subject area test for my teacher licensure, when I took the music part, I blew the test out the water. Like, I was 20 points above the score, the minimum score we had to have.
Wow, that's actually really cool. Because you a natural.
I was like, okay, this is easy. done.
Okay, so now you decided to teach and going to do music. How did Bull City Music come into existence? From what was the first thought that you had, and then like what was the first thing that you did to get things moving?
Well, the reason Bull City Music School came into existence was because I was always tired of being the one teaching unit that was on the chopping block every year and teaching in public schools. From the time I started, it was like, all right, well, time to do budget cuts, and music, that's going to be the first thing to go.
Right.
Here we go again. Got time to job. Here we go again. Get into a job, do it. Oh, you know what? We've got to tighten it up, and we're going to need you to travel to 3 different schools. What?
Wow.
No. Then, life changes, having my children, and finally, with the last baby and the last teaching assignment, that was it. I was teaching piano, vocal music, and literacy. Yeah, literacy.
Having an anniversary party, birthday party, or better yet, you're about to marry that special someone? Liquid Effects Photography is the perfect choice to immortalize all your most special moments. With 10 years of dependable professional service that can deliver from the conventional to the best in cutting-edge technology and creativity. Come experience the uniqueness of Liquid Effects Photography. We serve the entire upper Midwest and will travel further upon request. Come check us out at liquideffects.com. That's LIQUIDEFFEX.com. Or call us at 773-454-5556. That's 773-454-5556.
Hello, this is Kelly Charles, an educator from Houston, Texas, and a very proud graduate of Grambling State University, the place where everybody is somebody. I'm looking forward to sharing with this listening audience all of the great things about my experiences in the field of education. And, of course, I have to talk about the world-famed Tiger Marching Band. Finally, shout out to my sorors of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. You are listening to the Marching Podcast Radio Network.
We're back, everyone. What I remember most from the second segment is that she went to a performing arts high school, which I did not know about her, and that Jackson State was not her first choice. That made me think, and we talked about that a little bit in the interview, how the difference about the program that the school offers, which is another leg of the debate, but that some students do not pick HBCUs basically because they just don't have the major or they don't have the sport that they want to play. It made me think of Hampton, and not too long ago, they are now competing in lacrosse. So that's going to be great for Hampton because now it's going to open the door for a lot more students to attend Hampton University, which is what we want for all of our HBCUs across the board, to start new programs and to start new sports or whatever it is that opens the door and broadens the horizon of the school and also takes in more students. Also, I thought about how she knew that she could teach and work in the field of music, even thought about attending law school and working in music. But she thought about all her options and basically how the universe put her into teaching and how that rolls into our third segment of how she then creates Bull City Music School. In our third segment, Jeanetta talks about her experience in teaching in the field and the tribulations that happen to her over and over again, and basically how Jeanetta decides to fight back and how all these experiences motivated her to start her own business. She gives us the guidelines that she put forth in creating the school, and finally she gets into the specifics of Bull City Music School itself, and she starts to tell us about her greatest experience. You can email the show at marchingpodcast@gmail.com, tweet us at marchingpodcast, or follow our blog, blog4.themarchingpodcast.com.
The principal said, here, I've got $200 for you to teach all of this. You got what?
Wow.
Come again? Me as an artist was dying. because I was not able to be true to myself. I was not able to be authentic. Therefore, I was really not present in the moment for my students the way that I should have been, because I'm dying. I'm dying as an artist, and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't be true to myself and work for a system that's not being true to the people who it's charged with and growing. I said, I can't do this. And always taught piano lessons. I started when I was like 13 years old. I remember I had my first recital in the living room of my house in Memphis, Tennessee. Nice. Hilarious. But I've always done it, even when I was at Jackson State, taught piano lessons at a music school, and just some kind of way it would find me, and I would teach. I said, you know what? I'm tired of always being on the chopping block around here. Mm-hmm. Not because of performance, but because of budgets. And my mindset became, you know what? I'm going to do the quitting around here now. I'm going to take charge. And I said, let me build my own thing. And plus, I wanted to revolutionize the way music education is now being delivered. Because too often when you think of music lessons, and I've heard this, oh, I'm going to some old woman's house, and she's got a bunch of cats running around.
Right.
And they see me. Oh, you're a piano teacher? Oh, no. Yeah, I teach piano. For real? Yes, for real. I have a degree. Want to see it? You know, we got to do different ways of reaching, and I'm going to do my own music school. And I was pregnant with my last baby, which ended up being a micro-preemie. And even before we knew that he was going to be born really early, the school I was teaching at here in North Carolina was closing. Wow. And so I asked, because I'm a licensed K through 6 elementary teacher, I said, well, you know what? Music positions, dime a dozen. There's not that many out there. Matter of fact, there's not any. I'll go back into the classroom, general ed classroom, and teach. And they was like, no, you got to do a like-to-like. I got to do a what? And I have a license over here? Okay. I get an email the next day that they told me where I was going. Well, whoa.
Damn.
You told me?
They told me.
Yeah. No. That's where you made your mistake. And then where they told me I was going to, I was like, no, I do not accept. And then I get an email from the principal, congratulations, we're so excited to have you a part of our team. And I was like, oh, no, that was a lie. My son came early. I went out on maternity leave, and I said, you know what? It's time for me to do my own thing here, because I can no longer be suppressed as an artist.
I'm not only feeling you as an artist, but just a regular human being with just the fate of your job possibly being here. No, it might be. It might be. Like, that was stressful enough. But then, like, you really don't even really want to be there. I definitely can see. And then being pregnant. And then dealing with that. So you had a lot going on. I'm sure stress is like an understatement. Were you stressed out? You know what I'm saying?
Like, and then the teaching conditions. Oh, that's another conversation for another day. But anyway, I said, it's time. I'm just going to go ahead, step out on faith, and do my own thing. And I started asking, well, I'm just going to build a little small studio. You know, this was before the whole school came into existence. And I started renting space out of another music school. And when I got there and I looked around, I said, you know what? Let me just be upfront. Like, look, my goal here is to grow my own thing. I'm just here temporarily. She got understood. She said, that's how most people are when they come here. Great, as long as we got this understood up front. And I used my social networks to let everybody know, hey, look, I'm here to start teaching piano lessons. If you're looking for a teacher, blah, blah, blah. I started with 3 students in March of 2015. And by December, I had 17 students.
Nice.
So it grew, like, really, really fast. And I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to be true and authentic to myself. I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it my way. I got really sick. It's always something catastrophic that makes you really think and get your priorities in order. Mm-hmm. So I was really sick after building this studio. Matter of fact, during our winter recital, I was running a fever right then. But I was just so happy to be there with my students that I was just like, let me just make it through the day. Let me make it through the day. And I did. And by January, I was hospitalized. And it really got me to thinking, like, you only get one life. Live it. And I got better, and I had to make a tough decision, but it was a good decision. I had to downsize to upsize. And what that meant was some of the students in my studio, I needed to let go because I only needed to teach a select number of students. And some, I hated to see some of them go, but some for personal reasons. It just kind of all began to work out. And then the others, I was like, I don't think this is going to work anymore.
And you're by yourself,
right? Yeah, I was
right?
by myself.
Okay.
And so I downsized to come home, and I did. I moved home, converted my living room into a studio space, let my family know, look, this is what I'm going to do. And I said, but I'll still rent space one day a week here at this place because I still need to kind of grow. So I kind of had my big toe in one place and a big toe in another place.
Right.
And I took the time to brand it and say, what's my message? What do I want to do? What do I want to be known for? How am I different from the other competitors? Because I said, I want to be more than a place that you take your lesson and you go home. No. That's not what I want to be. My music school is going to be a boutique music school. It's going to be a place where we strive to educate the total musician. So it's not just, okay, you're going to take your music theory, you're going to have your repertoire, you're going to do your scales, you're going to do, okay, all that's great because that's the basis. You have to have that. But what else can I offer to them? What else can I give them? What other exposure? And so they got me to thinking. And I started putting everything down, and that started helping with the branding and what's my message and what is the type of energy that I want to attract, even down to the colors. I was very deliberate in choosing the red and the Carolina blue.
Right.
Very deliberate in it, in my colors and what am I doing with it. So now here we are, Bull City Music School. We now have 3 teachers on staff.
Nice.
And they are phenomenal. They are dynamic. One of my piano teachers, he is in the recording industry. He plays in the band for up-and-coming rapper Rhapsody, and he's played with the band Ninth Wonder. Excellent. I can't wait to go and hear Rhapsody in, I think it's October, in Raleigh at, what is the name of the music festival? Hopscotch Music Festival. Solange is going to be the headliner.
Oh.
Another one of my teachers has toured extensively with several indie rock bands. He's teaching guitar. And my other teacher, brass, he's going to do mainly lower brass, but can do upper brass. And his connection, very strong music education ties in the classroom. He is on the professional staff with the UNC Marching Tar Heels, and he also works with one of our local high schools. So with all of that great energy combined, and I am in talks with adding a drama teacher to the Bull City Music School family. With all of that combined, it was about the right energy, the right connections, and people who are going to be true to their passion, true to their craft.
What was your established date that the school started?
2015. Yes.
Okay. So,
and we started actually as Triangle City Music. When I rebranded, we became Bull City Music School.
Now, just for the listeners who may be out of the regional North Carolina area, Triangle City, is that all of Durham? Like, what's the difference between Bull City and the Triangle City?
So the triangle refers more to the area, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill.
Bet. Okay, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill. That's the triangle.
Right.
And then
that's the triangle, right.
Right. And then Bull City is Durham, right?
All day long.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, bet. Okay, that's what's up. What would you say so far has been your most memorable experience?
I'm actually living it right now. It's a dream fulfilled. Yeah. I mean, I'm living it. I'm in the moment, and
Wow, good answer.
yeah, I'm in the moment of it. The day that I'm like, I just hired 3 teachers. Ooh, actually, when my email went off and I'm receiving resumes, like, what?
Yeah, oh, nice.
I'm receiving resumes. I was like, I'm legit.
Double Time Entertainment. Our passion is music and promoting HBCU marching bands as well as high school marching bands through high-quality movie videos and photos. We have worked with BET, Yamaha, Ludwig, Honda Motor Company, and been featured on CNN and Lifetime Network's series Bama State Style. We also help and orchestrate Battle of the Bands with marketing and promotions, and also became the official media team for the Queen City Battle of the Bands in Charlotte, North Carolina. Join Double Time Entertainment on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and now new on Periscope. Music lovers are noteworthy.
Hello, this is Dr. Joel Beard, Jackson State alumnus, 1966, and you're chopping it up here on the Marching Podcast Network.
We're back, everyone. What I remember about the third segment, something that happens to a lot of teachers, and that the programs get cut. This, again, is another reason we have on the network to show people how important these music programs are in developing our youth, and which in turn makes our nation great. I also remember that she had a plan and the steps she took to develop the school. She wrote things down and she planned out the logo, and y'all had a purpose and all in what she was doing. And I think that this is really important for the listeners to understand, because you have to be organized in developing your plan to make it a reality. Without that hard work and without all of that planning, it's just a dream. Now, dreams are good, don't get me wrong, but you've got to make your dream come true with a little elbow grease and some determination. And that's what really I was picking up from her when she described all that she went through pregnancy and things going on. She had a clear focus in mind because she had her eyes on the prize. She had her eyes on the bigger picture. And I think that that's really important to understand here in this podcast. In our fourth segment, she tells us about the future for Bull City Music School, and she tells us her plans that she has in making the end goal a reality. And she later tells us what's currently offered there at Bull City Music School to give people the information so they can go online and check out the school. You can email the show at marchingpodcast@gmail.com, tweet us at marchingpodcast, or follow our blog, blog4.themarchingpodcast.com.
Yeah, I was like, I'm legit. And I say this year, I borrowed this from 666 Mafia, represent my hometown. One of their albums was the most known unknown. And I said, that's who I am. I'm the most known unknown right now. A lot of people know me, but I'm unknown with what I'm about to do.
What are your aspirations for Bull City? What do you see for the future?
We're going to be a conservatory for the arts.
Now, conservatory, that means like you would be encapsulating a lot of different things, like beyond music and stuff, right?
Absolutely. Notice I said I'm in talks with a drama teacher now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I said, I heard you say drama, and then I know you do strings. You have the guitar. Like, how big do you want to be?
I definitely want to be on the national stage. So when you turn on your TV and you watch Black Girls Rock, you're watching the BET Awards, I want to be the segment about music education. I want to be the segment about the arts.
You say on the national stage, so like something in Jackson, something in Memphis, something in LA. Has it been on your mind going outside of the United States?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will say Memphis is the next place because it's my home. Memphis made me.
Right.
Well, Memphis raised me. That would definitely be the next place. The Book of Havoc, second chapter, second verse says, write the vision and make it plain. And I've already written it down, what the plan is for Memphis. For Memphis, it's Bluff City Arts Academy.
Okay, so that's what I was wondering, like, because I know you couldn't necessarily have Bull City in Memphis. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, because they're not the Bull City. They're the Bluff City, though. They're the Bluff City.
Right, right. Pretty exciting. I just want to say I'm really proud of what you're doing. It's kind of similar
Thank you.
to what I'm doing with the podcast. When I moved out here, I felt like it was a need to have some type of podcast or radio about black college bands. But then I knew so many people like you and so many folks I went to school with. I definitely thought the interview section would definitely be cool. And then knowing you throughout the years and then seeing, and I remember you was like, I'm going to start my own music school. I was like, dang, you actually got it going pretty fast. So I remember talking to you one time, and then next thing I knew, it was like you had a Facebook page. Like it had, it went up pretty fast. So that's really cool. And then I didn't even know, outside of your other background, that you had so much exposure with music, but that you played so many instruments. What all could they be exposed to learn there at Bull City?
Oh, wow. So what's on the menu at Bull City Music School is, first I go to the website, www.bullcitymusicschool.com. Okay. And click on our tab, About Us, and our classes. And you will see we start from 18 months old and launching, we are launching our toddler music classes, which is called Ayo music classes. Ayo comes from the Yoruba tribe in Nigeria, meaning joy. So we're teaching the joy of music at a young age. So we have classes 18 months old up to 2 years old, and then ages 3 to 4 year old. And that is our world music class. Then we have private music instruction, piano, violin, viola, cello, guitar, upper and lower brass. We'll be adding a woodwinds teacher very soon. I have someone to interview. I'm already in talks with bringing on a drama teacher. And then we will offer specialty classes, like for those that want to be in music technology. We'll do some seminars on music technology. We'll do seminars on being in the industry, social media branding, photography, the whole package, how to present yourself musically, which route you want to go. Are you R&B? Are you rap? Are you gospel? Are you indie rock? What are you? Mm-hmm. And that's why I said we're more than just a music school. So that's already on the menu at Bull City Music School. Who knows what's going to be next?
That's really good. That's really good. I like the fact that you said you're looking into and opening to music technology. One thing I remember just talking about, black colleges. We were talking about black colleges and the things and the programs they offer. I know Hampton offers a music engineering degree. And not a lot of other schools have that. I think South Carolina State has it now or something. But it's stuff like that. It's really cool because I think that's definitely important because not a lot of kids, they just want to make beats. And a lot of the beats nowadays are not even following like just basic laws of music. You know what I'm saying?
No, none at all.
So it's just like, wow, just being exposed to that there. And then once they get exposed to that technology, since they hearing the cellos down the hall, I think they'll then want to then open themselves up more to the actual craft.
Right.
So I'm pulling for you, JP. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
It's really exciting and definitely. And we've talked about contacts and stuff like that in the area to get you going. So we'll always have a friend of the network. We're coming to the end of the podcast. Is there anything else that you wanted the listeners to know about? Make sure, could you give us our website and everything so we can get our kids involved with Bull City Music or just get the exposure out there so people can help donate and support?
Absolutely. So our website is www.bullcitymusicschool.com. And you can also follow us on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Bull City Music School. And then on Twitter, you can find us at Bull City Muse, M-U-S-E. So, one of the ways you can find us, whether it's on the website, and you can subscribe to our newsletter. So you'll always stay in the loop about things that are going on, because we're adding classes like every day. I tell everybody, buckle up, baby, because we are moving rapido over here, okay? Nice. Rapido, actual music term. Social media, follow us, and soon we will open up our foundation soon for people to be able to donate for children whose families cannot afford music lessons at all.
That's outstanding. Because what you have is definitely needed, and I wish there was, like you said, we just have the funding to get you going. Because it would be nice, like if I had a school over here by me, like if I had a Bull City Music by me, I could send my kids. But even just enabling more programs, so like they can do stuff over the summer. Because this has been my first summer with a child. And my first summer with a child in school in first grade, and I didn't, I had to figure out what we were going to do with her. And of course, all the things came into my mind. But yeah, if you have those summer programs, those summer classes, those music camps right there at Bull City, your kids will be straight. I think, it'll make the world a better place.
That's right. We're reaching across all of the art disciplines here.
Well, I am very excited for you, Jeanetta. Really cool. I know, like, I've always been pulling for you. All y'all were smart. You, Avery, all the Bryant McGee. I think he was really doing really well. We had a pretty good class of folks doing music. So really excited for you and really appreciate talking on the podcast.
Well, thank you for having me as a guest, and I would love to come back anytime. Give updates on what's going on at Bull City Music School.
We're back, everyone, and we want to thank Jeanetta Hopkins for her time with the interview. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or a patron to the Marching Podcast, please contact the show and we'll give you the criteria so we can start to pub your business using our platform. We'll play your commercial. We'll post your information on social media and our website and our blog, and we'll help send out your information. So contact us so we can help build your business. What I recall from the last segment is that she's planning to move worldwide and become a conservatory for the arts, which stretches beyond just music and again goes back to how she grew up and the exposure that she had. And now she's willing to cash in on all of that today. She then sends a shout out to Bluff City, Memphis, Tennessee, where she's from, and how she wants to give back to that community as well. She then lays out what's on the menu at the school and what she's all currently offering there to the community. So make sure you guys go to the website and find out how you can get involved and support Bull City Music School and Jeanetta Hopkins.
Hello, this is Andy Moreira, and I am one of the 2016 Marching Podcast Scholarship recipients. I would like to give a shout-out to my euphonium section back in Arkansas and Pine Bluff. A shout-out to Duran, a shout-out to Bianca, a shout-out to Omar, a shout-out to Gio. And you are now listening to the Marching Podcast Radio Network.
Hello, this is Kelly Charles, an educator from Houston, Texas, and a very proud graduate of Grambling State University, the place where everybody is somebody. I'm looking forward to sharing with this listening audience all of the great things about my experiences in the field of education. And of course, I have to talk about the world-famed Tiger Marching Band. Finally, shout out to my sorors of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. You are listening to the Marching Podcast Radio Network.
Hello, this is Dr. Joel Beard, Jackson State alumnus, 1966, and you're chopping it up here on the Marching Podcast Network.
That's all the time we have for this podcast. Check out our website and donate what's in your heart to themarchingpodcast.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Thanks to you for listening, and remember, the eye is a better pupil and more willing than the ear. Advice may be misleading, but examples are always clear. See you next time.